Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Wherever you are in the world today, I hope that you are in good spirit. I hope that you're doing great. And most importantly, I hope that you are in good health. Once again, welcome to the Common Sense channel. On this channel, we get to talk about those things that people know, that people have thought about, but don't often have the time to discuss. These, my friends, are the things we talk about here on the Common Sense channel. So once again, I want to welcome you to the Common Sense channel. Today, I want to talk to you about morality. This is a topic I've thought about on many occasions, but haven't had the spirit to do a video on this topic. So today I'm going to be looking at morality from different angles or different viewpoint. So from the Common Sense channel, let's define what morality is. Morality is a set of principles, values, cultural attributes that guides a community, a society, as far as behavior is concerned, as far as the way people engage their community, the way people engage one another, our behavior, the way we see the world. Morality is that set of principles. Morality is a principle. It has values and is based on values. And these values and these principles, my friends, are what guides your behavior, your action, and the way you perceive the world. This, my friend, definition is from the Common Sense channel. Because on my channel, I see the world the way I want to see it. You understand? I don't go by other people's definition. I define my own thing based on my own, the way I see the word, the way I perceive the word, and the way I want to define it. And that's how each of us must define things, because the way we see the world is what determines the way we react, and determines our behavior, and determines the way we think and act upon things in our society, in our community, and in our country, and in the world we live in. So I want to talk to you about morality today, since we all know what the definition is. It's a set of principles. And these principles and values has nothing, absolutely nothing, to do with religion. And I think this is what a lot of people have gotten wrong all these years, centuries, thousands of years, that morality is equivalent to religion, which is false. If anything, morality is more associated with cultural values or culture than it has anything to do with religion. So today, let's talk as a family. Let's do these videos just looking at morality. Because if you look at our world today, you will see this thing all over our world. And from time immemorial, people have been thinking that, the reason why people, religion, me on my channel, I don't hide from religion. When I talk of religion, I'm talking of organized religion. I want to be precise, because organized religion does not influence morality. And morality are those set of principles, values that affect, I think they are all under the umbrella of culture. You understand? And the reason why I say culture, because there are a lot of things that in our culture, say for a case study, America, there are a lot of things that shape our morality in this country. The way we perceive the world, the way we react to things, the way our viewpoints, the way we see things, our belief systems. These are all cultural things. Has nothing to do with religion. You understand? So in this country, there are certain things we view as wrong. You understand? And we don't do them. The reason why we view them is because of the culture of this country. It doesn't mean, and culture is one of those things that changes from one generation to another, because those things that we hold dear today as civilized, as wrong, as good, say 200 to 300 years ago, these things were okay. For instance, most Americans would think or believe, has nothing to do with religion again, that you shouldn't get married to a child at 12, because 12 years old, that's a child, But that doesn't mean that, say, 200 years ago, 300 years ago, that was not permissible in this country. And most people don't know, but 200 to 300 years, close to 300 years ago, that was permissible in this country. That a woman can get married at 13 or 14 years old. Today, that's not permissible in this country. But now check this out. In other culture, because a lot of people like to say America don't have a culture. If America don't have a culture, then what shaped the belief system? What shaped the way people think, behave, and react to things in this country if there's no culture? There is a culture, even though it's a melting pot with people from all over the world in one location, but it still has culture, and that culture is unique to the set of principles and values that Americans hold dear. You understand? So if you go to places like in Southeast Asia, having an affair with 12 years old, or 10 years old, or say 9 years old, that's okay. Is allowed in some of these places, even right next to us in South America. That could be something permissible. You understand? But in this country, it's a taboo. You understand? In fact, there are laws that prohibit these things from happening. That's right. That right there is morality. That right there. All of these laws that are in place that are protecting certain age right now in this country, you're not an adult until you're 18 years old. You understand? You're not allowed, you are 18 years old, you're allowed to join the military at that age. But you're not allowed to buy a cigarette at age 18. In other countries, no. So these are just set of principles and value that are based in the framework of morality. So when people say, oh, American society is immoral, they don't know what they're talking about. But I can see why they say that, because they are looking at it from a religious standpoint. Because when you're looking at things from a religious standpoint, you don't see the other aspect of that thing. You don't look at culture. You're only looking at the religious aspect of your own perception of what you're seeing. You know what I mean? Or your belief, because you can attribute religion to belief, but you cannot attribute culture to belief, because your culture is just set of principles and values that determine and shape the way you see the world and the way you react to things around you. And religion is just a belief, has nothing to do with culture. And the reason why I say in some culture, they don't even believe in the Godhead thing. They believe in other things that are outside, that are exclusive from religion. So your belief system is just, I think your belief system is more associated with your culture than it is with religion. But those who are on the religion side, they can have that too. They can share part of the belief system, but belief is more associated with culture, because I think out of culture comes your religion. Religion is not exclusive from culture, but culture is the motherhead of religion. But let's give it to the religious people, especially organized religion, because organized religion sometimes demonize culture only if they understand that out of culture comes religion. And that's just me saying this. You can check anywhere around the world. You can do your research and you'll come to this conclusion that it is out of culture comes religion, because the cultures worship the belief system of a society. Because if religion is a man-made thing, and like I said in previous video, religion is actually, you understand, the it's actually in you, it's embedded in all of us. All humans are religious by nature. It's innate, you understand? But if someone can take that and turn it into a business, then it become organized. But you don't need to look for it. But culture is actually part of you. So all of these things are part of you. Someone can even turn your culture into business if they want to. You understand? Someone can promote American culture, especially I think Hollywood does a great job with this. Just taking the culture of this country and propagating it out to the world. So Hollywood is taking those set of principles and values and the way we behave, the way we think about things, our attitude, and turning it into business, just like religion too. So let me get to the point, the angles that I want to hit with this topic, because this topic is very important when you look at morality, because a lot of people, and this is where people get things wrong. I personally don't see human beings looking at them. When I look at morality, I'm only looking at the culture of a place. I'm not looking at the religious aspect. You understand? Because once you start to look at the culture of a location, a place, a geographical location, a country, a society, a community, once you start to look at the culture of that environment, then you wouldn't put so much value on the reaction of an individual. That is, if you're not religious. You understand? You won't be misled either, because now you're looking at the culture of a specific place and the people of that place. So, for instance, when you start to look at people based on the culture, you won't be misled when someone come out to you and tell you how pious and how good they are, and you believe in them that they're going to do the right thing, and then it turned out to be something else, because you're looking at them at a higher esteem. You're looking at them as people with values that are based on the culture that person is from. You understand? So for instance, what I'm trying to say is this: if you're looking at culture to determine human behavior, you're 99% of the time to be right and not be misled, because you're looking at the values and culture and the principle of that community from which that person is from. You understand? So for instance, in some cultures, lying is not something is permissible, or taking things from other people, stealing, that's not permissible. They do whatever it takes to dissuade people from engaging in things like that. So you find that people in such culture will not engage in stuff. It doesn't mean that it's not there. Stealing, lying, and all these things. Not there, but you won't find it that prevalent because the culture of that community dissuade or not encourage people to engage in behaviors like that. You understand? So for instance, having children out of wedlock, there's some culture that does not encourage that, that does not support that, that frown away from things like that. So if you find that all the women or men in this community do their utmost best not to engage in stuff like that. And it has nothing to do with religion. You understand? It's just a cultural thing that their community, their society does not encourage or permit, to the people to do. So you wouldn't find that there. They encourage if you want to settle down, if you're a young man, you want to settle down, find a wife. If you're not pleased with one wife, you can get another one. This is outside of religion, my friends. So I think culture is more associated with morality than religion. But both of them are part of culture. You understand? So culture is just the umbrella of this whole thing. Another example, in some culture, when you say yes, it's yes. When any individual in that community or society or country, if they give you the word, that's the word. They don't renege on it. They don't change on it. The word is the word. They don't come back and say, oh, I didn't say that. If they say yes, it's yes. If they say no, it's no. Everyone in that society, everyone in that community understands that. There are advantages to that and there are disadvantages to that. Because not every culture sees the world that way. This is exclusive from religion again. Because there are other cultures that they don't feel they have to be true to the word. So they may sign an agreement with you and later on they change their mind. That's their culture. But your culture, it's not like that. You believe in these principles and values and you adhere to them. You understand? So our culture, our principles and value that enable us, again, my own definition, that enable us to interact with the world around us and do it in a better way, in a more principle and value manner than, say, compared to other culture. So those things that you think are wrong, in your own opinion, as far as morality is concerned, may not be okay, or may be something that's okay in other culture. So if you're using religion to say, to justify someone's behavior as far as morality is concerned, my friends, you are going to be deceived. So the point of my video as far as morality is concerned, this particular video, is strictly telling you that you need to look at morality based on culture and not religion. Because religion is deceptive. Religion is a creation of man. That just like how man took culture and turned it into business, the culture of a place. You can turn the culture of a place into business. It's the same you can do with religion too. I hope you're getting the point. This is deep. This is deep thinking I'm doing here. You understand? And that's what the Common Sense channel is all about. Deep thinking. Like, think. Because once you start to think this way, everything will start to make sense. you wouldn't be misled. You wouldn't be fooled because they just lump everything and say, oh, your religion is your culture, it's your values, your principle. No. Out of culture comes morality. Out of culture comes values and principles. Out of culture comes religion. All of these are elements of culture. Morality will not come into being if you don't have a culture. You know, their culture in the world that killing is a normal thing. You understand? Their culture that some would kill you with impunity because you are going against the social norm. So killing you, like for instance, in honors killing, there are cultures that in the world across the globe that I'm not going to call names that believe that a woman is not supposed to marry to another culture that doesn't share the same religious values and principles, which are all of them are from culture. And if anyone do that, that's dishonoring the family. So therefore you are sentenced to death. You understand? But in our culture, in this country, that's not permissible. That's seen as you don't have the right to do that. Or no one gives you the right to do that, and you have freedom of choice. There are culture that believes that a woman shouldn't choose a husband, that the husband or the bride or the groom of that society should be chosen by the family, you know. And in this culture, we're gonna be like, no, that's not what our own culture says. But to other culture, that's permissible, exclusive from religion. But you can see the religious element in that culture. And there are those cultures out there, you know, that believe that you shouldn't marry someone, you know, that doesn't that are not from your tribe, you know, or you can marry at any age you want to. Some culture believe that a man who is 60 years old can get married to a 15, 16 years old child. It's happening across the globe. Has nothing to do with religion. So all of these things explain the way people do what they do. You know, so people in high places, when they are engaging in behavior such as abusing a little child or having sexual relationship with a little child, you shouldn't see that as bad. In their culture, it's permissible. But in this country, you are not allowed to do that. So, but some of these people that have these cultural values and principles and belief system and behavior, when they come to this country, they don't try to educate themselves on the culture of this country. Because when people are looking at America, they only look at religion. If anything happened in society, they say, oh, it's the breakdown of morality, the breakdown of society. And then they often attribute that to religion. They say, oh, it's because religion is dying off. You know, that's why people are doing what they do. I personally don't believe that because I always believe there's always culture, and the culture, like me, that's what I study. Everywhere I go, I try to study the culture of that place. Even in your workplace, there's culture in your workplace. And that's something you must adhere to. So whatever your values are, whatever your principles are, or your culture in your home, in your environment where you're from, you don't bring that into your job because your job has its own set of culture that you must adhere to, that you must follow. So everywhere you go, if you don't find religion there, the thing that you find that's most common are culture. You understand? So yeah, it's just this element of the human development that's always there from the beginning of time, which is culture. And I can tell you, out of culture comes religion. Out of culture comes morality. And morality embodies ethics. You see? So when you see people, whether they are your leaders, don't just look at them from a religious lens. Just look at them from a cultural lens. Whatever is it that the culture is propagating, is accepting, that's how they behave. Whatever is okay in their culture, that's what they behave. They wouldn't care. They would care less about religion. Because guess what? Religion does not inform decision, although they'll tell you otherwise. But religion does not change anyone. What changes you are your culture. Your culture is what influences your behavior. Because there are those things that your culture consider as taboo that religion may not consider as taboo. Because in religion, it depends on which denomination you find yourself in. They all have their own set of values and principles and beliefs, system that governs that denomination. But your culture is not like that. Your culture has certain rules, principles, and values, and those values are what you must follow. So if you ask me, I tell you, the best aspect of life that you want to attribute yourself to or that you want to adhere to must always be your culture. And that is based on the part of the community or society that you're from. Whatever you find yourself, whether it's in the urban settings, in the rural settings, in the city, or in the wherever you find it, whatever community you find yourself that you're introduced into determines your culture. And that, my friend, is what must inform your decision making as far as morality is concerned, as far as ethics is concerned, as far as principles and values are concerned, and nothing else. I'm not saying it because I have issues with religion. Yes, I do. But I'm saying this because it's facts. It's the reality. Once you start thinking this way, look, you wouldn't put your trust in no one. It's not that you don't believe in humanity. You don't try to see the value or the good in all of us. But our cultural values, our culture determines the way we perceive the world. And if someone from Southeast Asia and you are engaging on the decision making concerning life and death of a person, this is something that you want to look at if you don't understand what I'm saying. If both of you were to sit in a room and decide whether a person will live or die based on whatever crime they've committed, you will start to understand that the person from Southeast Asia or Africa or Central or South America, or whatever that person is from, if they put all these people in the same room and their job or assignment is to determine whether a person is innocent or guilty and based on a crime, and this crime warrant death, the death sentence, then you start to understand how each of these people would approach that situation. And when they do, it's going to be based on their culture. Their culture determines the morality, which is a set of principles and values that guides their decision making. And this is true. So when I come on here, when I say on my channel that religion does not make you a, a good person, a better person, these are the reasons why I say that. Because I know some of you that watch my channel, you like, oh, he's not religious. He da 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 da. He's this and that. One thing I know, you wouldn't call me Antichrist, because if you ever say that, then I'm gonna do a video on that, because I know I'm not. And I'm gonna do a video for you to understand. But here's the thing. Most of the things that we do in life, these things are based solely, my friends, on our culture. Just like someone can organize a religion and make money and profit out of it, someone can also take your culture or the culture of a society, a people, a place, and turn it into money making for profit and gain. There are people that are wise and smart and intelligent, and these people understand the world around you. And they, my friends, are in high places. And because they're in high places, they are so powerful that they don't look at religion. When they're making decisions, they don't make them based on religious values and principles, because they know religious value and principles are not set principles and value. They are different based on the denomination of religion that you find yourself in. For instance, the way Methodists see religion is different than the way Catholic view religion. The practices, the principles, values are way off, different. Same as Baptist, Lutheran, all these denominations, including the cornerstones denomination, or whatever you want to call them, they all have different principles, values, ethics, morality. The way they see the world is different, and their approach to things are way different. But you wouldn't find that in culture. You understand? The culture is exclusive, even though the elements of religion is part of culture, but it's way exclusive from religion. So when you look at people from now on, look at them based on their culture. And the culture of a person determines the morality, the ethics, and the behavior, and the way they perceive the world. So as I've always said on my channel, and I will say again, the greatest thing that can ever happen to anyone is not the day you're born, not the day you had your first child, the day you graduated from high school, college, the day you became lawyer or doctor, whatever you're working on in life. The greatest thing that could ever happen to anyone, my friends, is the day you discover the self. And the self, I right now want to believe that, look, every aspect of the human being, right? Ethics, morality, values, principles, these are all part of the self. And they all have their own personalities. And the saddest thing about it is you can switch them off. You can switch them off. So you can look at something terrible happen. There are people that can look at someone slaughtering someone and wouldn't do anything about it. It won't even bother them. There are people that can look at someone stealing and wouldn't dare say a word. They'll be okay with it. There are people can look at someone abusing a child and just turn their face on the eye on the other side. It won't bother them. There are people that can have incest. In some culture, incest is a normal thing. You understand? even though society says in this country now, that's a taboo. But in some other society, that's okay. So imagine having someone that believes that, living in the society where it's not permissible. What do you think will stop them from doing that? Do you think religion will stop them from doing it? The only thing that can stop that person from doing that, engaging in that behavior, even though they're programmed to it, the only thing that can stop them from doing that is the culture of that society to which they find themselves. So you get it? So the culture of a community, a society, a country is the bedrock for all morality. Because morality is the set of principles and values that a society adhere to. So again, I just want to do this video on morality because I just feel like it's a point that people are missing. And when people are missing the main point, which is the culture. So if anything is breakdown, it's the culture. You understand? It's the culture that break down. You know, and the culture is the society. The culture is the bedrock of a society. And the society is within the culture. So I just want to thank all those people that continue to watch my videos. I want to thank all those that are subscribed to my channel. I appreciate you. I love you. I know you're smart. You're intelligent. That's why I do this thing. I come with a different approach to everything because I've always liked to think about things, whether they make sense or not, but just think about them and start to see the world the way we're supposed to see it, not like what is already set in front of us. So we should be able to look from within the box, not from outside of the box, as I've always say. Because in life, when you try to solve a problem, you don't look outside for solution. You look from within. So you are in the box and you're looking from within the box and trying to solve problems that are external. So again, I want to thank everyone. I love you. I honor you. And I hope that you are in good spirit. And most importantly, my friends, that you are in good health. Thank you, and have a wonderful day. Appreciate you always.